got straight on a plane to return. Seeing my wife have to be her strongest and knowing that it's the scariest of news.
Brad Pitt. For over 30 years, that name has meant one thing: superstardom. He's an icon, a giant of the silver screen, a man who's lived his entire adult life under a microscope. His career is legendary, but it's his love life that has truly mesmerized the public, spinning a decades-long story of romance, heartbreak, and scandal. We watched him fall in love, watched him marry, and watched him go through devastating public divorces. We thought we knew the whole story. Turns out, we might not have. Brad Pitt's love life has been front-page news for as long as we can remember. But what if the story we think we know is missing a crucial chapter? After decades of public romances and breakups, a closer look at Pitt's own words and actions might finally point to who he considers the one that got away. Was it Jennifer Aniston, the ultimate girl next door? Or was it the intense, sophisticated romance he had with Gwyneth Paltrow that he never truly moved on from? This isn't just another headline. It's a look at the evidence that reframes everything we thought we knew about the man behind the movie star. Before he was a global phenomenon, Brad Pitt was the charming kid from Missouri who was taking Hollywood by storm. In the early 90s, his romances were just as much a part of his growing legend as his movies. But it was on the dark, gritty set of the thriller S.E.7N in 1994 that a relationship began that would define the decade. Her name was Gwyneth Paltrow. She was Hollywood royalty, an elegant and fiercely talented actress in her own right. When they met, the spark was undeniable. Paltrow later described it as major love at first sight. It was crazy. Pitt was just as head over heels. Their romance became one of the most iconic of the 90s. They were young, beautiful, and blindingly famous, right down to their matching blonde haircuts that the tabloids couldn't get enough of. They were Hollywood's golden couple. This wasn't just a fling. It was deep and intensely serious. They were together for 2 years before Pitt proposed in December of 1996. The world was practically planning the royal wedding. This feeling was cemented in January 1996 when a nervous Brad Pitt accepted the Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor for 12 Monkeys. In a heartfelt speech, he looked out at the audience, thanked his angel, and publicly declared his love for Gwyneth Paltrow. It was a fairy tale moment, a public proclamation of a love he thought would last forever. But Hollywood fairy tales have a funny way of falling apart. Behind the perfect pictures, cracks were forming. Paltrow, still in her early 20s, was becoming a massive star herself. Just 6 months after getting engaged in mid-1997, the dream was over. They called it quits, and the public was stunned. Reflecting on it years later, Paltrow took the blame, saying her immaturity was the cause. "I think I was a kid and I wasn't ready," she explained on The Howard Stern Show in 2015. "He was too good for me." She admitted she was heartbroken, a feeling shared by her father, Bruce Paltrow, who reportedly loved Pitt like a son. The love that was declared so publicly had unraveled in private, leaving a question that would linger for decades. After the fiery, high-profile split with Gwyneth Paltrow, Brad Pitt wasn't single for long. In 1998, he was set up on a date with the undisputed sweetheart of television, Jennifer Aniston. As Rachel on Friends, Aniston's down-to-earth charm made her feel like everybody's best friend. She was the girl next door to Paltrow's polished elegance, and her connection with Pitt was just as immediate. Their relationship defined the turn of the millennium. If Pitt and Paltrow were a Hollywood fairy tale, Pitt and Aniston were the American dream. They were two of the most famous and beloved people on the planet, and their love story felt both huge and somehow relatable. The public adored them. In July 2000, they had a lavish $1 million wedding in Malibu. For 5 years, they were the golden couple, the benchmark for every other celebrity relationship. From the outside, it looked perfect. But years later, Pitt's own words would suggest something more complicated was going on beneath the surface. In a 2011 interview with Parade magazine, he made comments that many saw as a knock on his marriage to Aniston. It became very clear to me that I was intent on trying to find a movie about an interesting life, but I wasn't living an interesting life myself, he said. I think that my marriage to actress Jennifer Aniston had something to do with it. Trying to pretend the marriage was something that it wasn't. He quickly clarified his statement, explaining that he wasn't calling Jen dull, but that he was becoming dull to himself, and that was his own fault. Still, in other interviews, he talked about that time in his life with a sense of dissatisfaction. He mentioned feeling pathetic, sitting on a couch, holding a joint, hiding out. These weren't the words of a man living a perfect life, but of someone looking for a change. That search for an interesting life would soon lead him to a film set that would change his life, and Jennifer Aniston's forever. In 2004, Brad Pitt signed on to star in the action comedy Mr. and Mrs. Smith. His co-star was Angelina Jolie, an actress known for her wild child past and an electric, dangerous appeal that was the polar opposite of Aniston's sunny image. The movie was about a bored married couple who find out they're both assassins hired to kill each other. The chemistry between Pitt and Jolie was so palpable it practically jumped off the screen. As it turned out, it was impossible to ignore. In real life, too, rumors started flying that their on-screen passion had become a real-life affair. Suddenly, the story of Hollywood's golden couple was facing a scandalous new plot twist, a love triangle that would become one of the most talked about in celebrity history. In January 2005, Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston announced their separation. Their official statement claimed the split was a thoughtful consideration and that they remained caring friends, but the public wasn't buying it. Just a few months later, Pitt and Jolie posed for a W magazine photo shoot titled Domestic Bliss, which showed them as a 1960s-style married couple with a bunch of kids. To many, it felt like a deeply insensitive confirmation of the affair rumors. For Jennifer Aniston, the ordeal was a public nightmare. She was cast as the poor Jen figure, a narrative that stuck with her for years. Her pain was obvious in interviews, admitting she felt lonely, upset, and confused. Meanwhile, Brad Pitt moved on with Angelina Jolie, kicking off the Brangelina era. They traveled the world, championed humanitarian causes, and built a large family with 6 children. For over a decade, it seemed Pitt had finally found the interesting life he was searching for. They officially married in 2014, but in 2016, the world was shocked again when Angelina Jolie filed for divorce. What came next was a long, bitter, and very public legal battle. The perfect image of Brangelina was shattered. It was during this chaotic time that Brad Pitt started a journey of serious self-reflection. He got brutally honest about his own shortcomings. In a 2017 interview with GQ Style, he opened up about his struggles with alcohol, admitting he had been boozing too much and had quit drinking and started therapy. For me, this period has really been about looking at my weaknesses and failures and owning my side of the street, he said. This new sense of accountability seemed to stretch to his past relationships. His public comments became more regretful and wise. And then, something surprising happened. The ice between him and Jennifer Aniston started to melt. They were seen having a warm chat at the 2020 SAG Awards, and a photo of him gently holding. Her wrist backstage went viral, sending fans into a meltdown. They've both said they're just good friends, but this reunion, coupled with Pitt's public soul-searching, made a lot of people wonder if he was seeing his time with Aniston in a new light. After all the drama, divorces, and public soul-searching, the big question remains, who was the great love of Brad Pitt's life? There's no recent confession, no final answer from the man himself. But if you look at the evidence, a fascinating debate emerges between two powerful contenders. First, there's the case for Gwyneth Paltrow. She's the one he was with during his explosive rise to fame, the one he got engaged to, and the one he called his angel in front of the whole world. Theirs was a whirlwind romance defined by love at first sight. For years, that Golden Globes speech seemed like just a young guy swept up in the moment. But looking back, maybe it was more. Gwyneth has also spoken about their relationship with a mix of fondness and regret, admitting she was just too young and messed it up. But incredibly, they've managed to build a real friendship in recent years. In a conversation for her Goop website, Pitt told Paltrow, "It's lovely to have you as a friend now, and I do love you," to which she replied, "I love you so much." That speaks to a deep, lasting bond. Could it be that this intense, formative love he shared with Paltrow has always been the one that set the bar? But then, there's the powerful case for Jennifer Aniston. The love he had with Aniston represented a totally different ideal, one of comfort, stability, and genuine friendship. His decision to leave that marriage set him on a path that, while giving him a family, also led to incredible turmoil and a personal crisis that he's been very open about. When you spend years getting sober and taking responsibility for your mistakes, as Pitt has, it's only natural to look back at a time of happiness with a sense of what if? What if he had appreciated that uninteresting life for the peaceful, happy one it was? Their warm reunion in recent years suggests a man who may have finally realized what he lost. So the question becomes a two-sided mystery. On one hand, you have the ghost of a past love, Gwyneth Paltrow, the woman from his youth who he was ready to marry. On the other, you have the weight of hindsight and regret, Jennifer Aniston, the woman who represents a happy life he chose to leave behind. For decades, we've followed the story of Brad Pitt's love life through the chapters with Gwyneth, Jennifer, and Angelina. Each one was filled with passion, drama, and heartbreak. While there's no final confession, looking back, the evidence points in two compelling directions. His early, all-consuming romance with Gwyneth Paltrow was a defining moment in his young life. But that might not be the whole truth. His difficult journey of self-discovery, his public expressions of regret, and his warm, gentle friendship with Jennifer Aniston today paint a picture of a man who truly understands what he walked away from. Maybe the love of his life isn't the fiery passion of youth, but the steady, comfortable warmth he only learned to appreciate with hindsight. Ultimately, we're left with a question that gets to the very heart of love itself. Is the love of your life the one who first sets your world on fire, or the one you realize, years later, you shouldn't have let go? What do you think? Is Brad Pitt's great love the youthful passion he had with Gwyneth Paltrow, or the enduring connection he seems to have rediscovered with Jennifer Aniston? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And for more stories about your favorite stars, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.